open a new document, and it should open with your 100 by 100 millimeter hoop size. And we're gonna go ahead and hit 5 so that we have our screen filled with our canvas. And we're gonna create some basic shapes using the satin tool. So the first thing I'm gonna do, and the reason why I like to have these at 10 millimeters, our grid, is you do not really want to make a satin stitch wider than 10 millimeters. Your embroidery machine is going to have trouble stitching back and forth wider than 10 millimeters. And it helps to have these millimeters on here too, so that you can see how wide you were making your stitches. And this is where the grid really becomes helpful. So the first thing I'm going to do is in this left-hand box, I'm going to select the square and I'm going to draw a square. And right now I have a stroke selected, but no fill. And it says this stroke is actually like a turquoise color. I'm going to make it, I'm going to hold shift and I'm going to press the black button. And that's going to make a black stroke around here. Now you'll notice I don't have regular nodes on here. That's because I am in this rectangle tool mode right now, which allows me to manipulate this rectangle design. I can make it wider, I can make it shorter. As you can see, if I select this round button, that actually rounds my corners, which is a pretty cool effect, especially if you want to make like this kind of like, I don't know, pill shape, I guess. So I'm just going to leave it as a regular rectangle. And if I want this, I want to be able to manipulate this just with regular nodes, I need to go to Path, Object Path. We're going to need this Control-Shift-C. So now we have that selected with our node tool. You can see that there are 4 basic nodes. We're going to select the top 2. And you're going to become very familiar with this menu up here. And we're going to actually select this last one that says delete segment between 2 nodes. You want to delete that. And same with this bottom segment. Delete that. So now we have basically 2 lines. But when you select them, it still thinks it's one shape. That is because it is combined right now. So we're going to use combine and break apart a lot. Take our 2 lines and we're going to go Command Shift K and we're going to break those apart. And now you can see that we have kind of our marching ants around each design. If we select off, select back, we can select one of each. Now, one of the settings that you need to have selected to be able to use Inkscape well is to be able to see what direction these lines are going in. So see there's a little red arrow, and this one's going up and this one's going down. For Satin Stitch, these need to be going the same way. So you're going to select one of your nodes and you're going to go to Path and you're going to go to Reverse. And you can see the shortcut is Control R. So I'm going to Control R it. And when I go to my Nodes tool, which is the shortcut A for me, and remember I have the Adobe Illustrator shortcut menu, A is the node selection. So now I have these going the same direction. So let me show you how I got these marked on here. So you're going to go to Inkscape and go to Settings. And then you're going to go to Tools. And you're going to go to Node Tool. And under Node Tool, there is Show Path Direction on Outlines. That's what you want. And you always want to show the outline. And you can make it whatever color you want, but red is the default. So make sure you have that selected so that you can see what direction your lines are going. That's very important. So now that we have these going the same direction, we're going to go to our regular selection tool, which for me, the shortcut is V. That's the Illustrator shortcut. And now it has them both selected. And I'm going to go Control K, which is going to combine them into one shape. And then we're going to go Command Shift P to go to our params. And you can see it starts off with a running stitch. That's not what we want. Deselect your running stitch. It'll automatically go to this satin tab. And there we go. We have our satin stitch. I'm going to cancel that. I'm not going to hit apply and quit because I want it to stay the running stitch because I want to show you another thing that you can do, which is you can, let's go to Command Shift K and break that apart. And then we're going to use our pen tool and we're going to draw a line right through the middle. And if you hold your control, it goes perfectly straight. Left click, right click. Sound like I'm giving marching orders. So it's left, left, right. And then that's how you draw a line across. And that is how you tell Inkscape the direction that you want. These are called rails. And you can put them in various places on your satin stitch. But that is what tells Inkstitch what direction you want your satin stitch to go. So now we're going to hit Control K to combine and Control Shift P. And when you go to that, okay, you do still have to select satin. And that's another way to create a satin stitch. So there's that. That's just a very basic satin stitch. You might be thinking there's probably easier ways to do that than creating the square, deleting the nodes in between. Like, can I just draw lines? Yes, you absolutely can. So you can take your pen tool and just left, hold your control key to go straight up, left, right. And then since you went bottom to top, you can now go bottom to top, holding your command key or control key, left, left, right. And now you have your two rails for your satin stitch. Select them both, Command K, Command Shift P, deselect running, and you have your satin stitch. So that's another way to do it. The final way that I'm going to show you how to draw this shape that you'll sometimes see me use because sometimes it's the easiest way. I'm going to go ahead and draw a circle and control to make it perfectly round. And then I'm going to go object to path. And then I'm going to hit A, and there's my nodes. So technically I could split these, reverse one of the lines, and it would know that it's a satin stitch. However, if I don't want to do those steps. I can instead use my pen tool, and I like to fill this with color. And then go to my pen tool, snapping on. I'm going to kind of snap to that shape, and I'm going to just create a zigzag line around there, just like 3 or 4. So there's our zigzag line. And I'm going to go to Extensions, Inkstitch, Satin, Zigzag line to Satin. And there are several different options here. You can do a sawtooth, which is kind of like this N shape that I've done here. You can do like a pure zigzag, or you can do a square shape, which you might be familiar with from other embroidery software. I'm going to leave it at sawtooth because that is usually the shape I end up making, is kind of an N shape. It's going to smooth the design. It's going to add rungs. It's going to try to reduce the number of rungs. With this one, it is very important to do the live preview and see if you like the design. Because if you hit apply and you change it too much, it really starts to make it look weird. So I'm going to remove the smoothing. Now it's a little bit more squared. And then we're going to hit apply. And close that. And this is going to be our circle design. We hit Control-Shift-P. And it's going to give us kind of a circle design. And you can see it's kind of choppy, not as nice. So, but just to show you, that's another option when you're going through and creating satin stitches. One of the things I like about this method is that it automatically turns it into a satin stitch. You don't have to change it from a run stitch to a satin stitch. So it kind of saves you a couple of steps. I'm going to cancel that, and I'm going to delete that and come back to my original design. First of all, you're going to see that I very often work in a 20 by 20 size. So, and I kind of have snapping onto my grid. I'm just going to make that 20 by 20. Also, let me take my fill off of there. I like to use bright green. For my shapes. So I'm going to hit A, then I see my nodes. I'm going to drag and select these 2 middle nodes. Then I'm going to select this tool up here, which is Break Path at Selected Nodes. Break it. You can see when I select it, it still thinks it's one shape. That's because it's combined. You can double click, select this line, and Control R. Now you can see the arrows are going up on this side, the arrows are going up on this side. Select off, B, and it's going to select it, and it's still combined. So we get to save a step there, and we don't have to, break apart and combine them.